How are you, everyone? Good? Sleepy? Tired? Okay. So, does anyone have any question before we start? Any comments, concern, complaint? Any problem about my math club? Anything? Nothing?
About like the materials. You said the textbook will also be inside of my math class.
Any other question? So if you haven't get to my math lab yet, make sure you have it as soon as possible. Our first set of homework has deadline Monday midnight. Okay, so if you bought it, it's fine. If you have your temporary access, you just go to my math lab and activate your temporary access. But make sure you have your actual code before the 2 weeks trial period runs out. Okay. So, in our last class, we finished section 3.2 where we talked about different format of line. And then we identified which of the equations can be linear or line. And then we used old-fashioned method to graph a line using plotting 3 points. And now today we're going to learn about intercepts. So we have two types of intercept. One is x-intercept, one is y-intercept. X-intercept means where your graph is crossing the x-axis. That point is called x-intercept. And since we are crossing the x-axis, so we have a number for x, but our y value is always there. Similarly, y-intercept is where in the graph you're crossing the y-axis. That point in the y-axis is called y-intercept. Since it's the y-axis, the y value has a number, but the x value is always 0. Okay? Now, let's do some example. Let's say the first one has 1 here and -1 here. Let's say this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And let's say in the middle one, we have a graph like this. So let's say 1, 2, -3 here, 0 here, 1, 2, +3 here. Okay, so A, B, C. For A, our x-intercept is where our line is crossing the x-axis. So it's crossing here. So this is our line is crossing x-axis through the x value 1. So our x-intercept is x equals 1. However, we actually like to write the x-intercept and y-intercept as a point. So if you want to write as a point, the same x-intercept, we can write our x value is 1. And on the x-axis, all the y values are 0. So it's 1, 0. Similarly, our y-intercept is where our line is crossing the y-axis. So our line is crossing the y-axis through -1. So our y-intercept is y equals -1. Why did it have 2? -1. But at the point, In the y-axis, all the x values are always 0. So x is 0 and y is -1. In your final exam, you have to you have to graph a line, find x-intercept, y-intercept, and you have to write them as a point format, not as a equation format. So final exam wants points. Any questions so far? No? Then let's see the next one. Who wants to be volunteer for B, for x-intercept? Go ahead. Wonderful. -3, 0, 3. Wonderful. Can you also give me their points as a point format? -3, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0. Great. Anybody has any question about the solution, the answer? Is anybody confused, lost? Not yet? Okay, next volunteer for y-intercept. Who would like to give me y-intercept? Anybody? Go ahead. So y-intercept is why we are crossing the y-axis and we are crossing here only through 0. So it's y equals 0. And can you able to tell me its point? Great. 0, 0. See? This is easier to see, but this is actually what the department wants you to write. So not bad. Let's see the next one. Volunteer for the next one. C. X-intercept. Where we are crossing the x-axis. Come on, guys. Next volunteer. No volunteer? How about you? X-intercept. -2 and -1 is here. Are you crossing anywhere -1? No. So -2 is correct. You're crossing -2. Where else you're crossing the x-axis? 2. So it's -2 and +2. How about their points? Can you able to tell me the point format? 2, 0, -2, 0. Great. Now for y-intercept. Since I don't have space, so just give me the point format for y. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Great. 0, -3. It's the bottom one. 0, 3. It's the top one. So this is 3 and this is -3. Any question? No? So finding x and y-intercept from a graph is easy. Let's do 2 more. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So D, E, F. First x-intercepts. So D, who would like to do D x-intercept? Remember, x-intercept is when you're crossing the x-axis. Great. None. See, this is our x-axis here. But we are not crossing our x-axis because our line is only a horizontal line. Since we are not crossing the x-axis, we cannot have any x-intercept. Wonderful. How about the y-intercept? Would you like to try it? 2. So y equals 2 as a point format? 0, 2. So we are crossing our y-axis here. This is the y-axis. We are crossing through y equals 2. So that's our point is x0, but y2. How about the next one? Go ahead. X equals, this is actually 2. X equals 2. And as a point? 2, 0. Perfect. And how about the y-intercept? Huh? 0 is a number. None. You cannot write 0 because 0 is a number, it does exist. But here we don't have any x-intercept. So you have to write none. No x-intercepts. No y-intercept, sorry. Okay, the last one. Who would like to try the next one? The last one. Anyone? If you're not sure, just raise your hand and tell me why you're not sure. Then I'll be able to help you. Any brave one? Go ahead. See, we are crossing the x-axis. These are x-axis we are crossing here. So it's definitely 0, 0. And how about the y-intercept? Same thing. These are y-axis. We are crossing through the same point as the x. So it's 0, 0. See, it wasn't bad. You just have to see why you're crossing and name that point. Any question? Comments? Nothing? Okay. Now you're going to do the same thing, but not from any graph. By observing an equation, how do we find the x-intercept and y-intercept? To find x-intercept, all you have to do is set the y to be 0. Because if you notice all the x-intercepts are y0, y0, y0. So for x-intercept, y must be 0. That's why for any given equation, you set your y to be 0 and solve for x. On the other hand, to find the y-intercept, you do the opposite. If you notice every y-intercept, in every y-intercept, our x must be 0. X is 0, x is 0. Because in the y-axis, our x value is always 0. That's why in the equation, we set x to be 0 and solve for y. So whatever you are finding, you don't want to see the other variable, so you get rid of that variable by setting it to be 0. Now, why do you care about x and y-intercept? Well, by using x and y-intercept, now we can draw any line easier than by plotting points. How? Once you find the x-intercept, plot it on the x-axis, plot the y-intercept on the y-axis, and then connect them with a straight line. And that's it, you find your equation. Now, one important note is that a line can have at most one x-intercept and one y-intercept. We cannot have more than one x-intercept or more than one y-intercept because it's a line. It intersects x and y-axis only once in their life. No fun in class. Okay. So let's do one example together, and then you're going to do one example by yourself with your neighbors. From next week, I'm going to call in names for attendance. But this week, I'm giving you the assignment sheet because I need it as a proof to submit to the register. So first we are going to find x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, we are going to set y to be 0 so that y gets vanished. And we're going to solve for x. So equation is 3x plus 5y equals 15. Set y to be 0 means this entire y term becomes 0. So we're not going to see any more y term. So what do we have now? If y is vanished, the whole entire y term is vanished. What is left on the left side? 3x. And on the right side? 15. Now to get the x alone, what do you have to do? Divide by 3. Now 3 goes to 15 how many times? 5. So this is our x-intercept. But they want as a point format. So what is our point for x equals 5? X is 5 and y is 0. Easy, right? You just to remember your step. Set the other variable 0 or get rid of the other variable and solve for whatever you're looking for. In the next one, you're looking for y-intercept. So you're going to do the opposite. Set x to be 0 and we want to solve for y. So 3x plus 5y is 15 given to us. When you set x to be 0, this entire x term turns into 0. Now what do we have on the left side? Five y equals 15. To solve for y, divide by 5. So now y is how much? 3. And the point? 0, 3. So this time our x is 0 and we have a y value. Now let me graph here since I have a small space. So this is x, this is y. Our x is 5. Let's say this is 5. Our y is 3. Let's say this is 3. So you plot the x-intercept on the x-axis, y-intercept on the y-axis, and then connect them with a straight line. And that's it. This is the graph. And all of these you are going to do in the final exam. So you have a very fast final exam question. Draw a line, but first you have to find x and y intercepts. Any question? Is anybody lost already? No. If you're lost from the beginning, please let me know, because if you're lost at the beginning, There is no way you can do harder one. So be confident in the easier one. Oh man. So that the later harder stuff becomes easier. No. Man. Let me do it slow. Okay, you do the next one by yourself. Find everything. X-intercept, y-intercept, and then graph it. You don't have to work alone, talk to your neighbor. I'll give you 2 minutes. If you're done, check with your neighbors. Either the person front, or on the back, or on the side. Have a conversation. Did everybody sign in? Now did everybody sign in? Everybody did? Ready? Uh, uh, uh. Jasim Yusuf. Go ahead. Help me with x-intercept. So y0, 2x equals 4, perfect. Divide by 2, x is 0.60. Perfect. Now let's see. Is it Janisha? Y-intercepts. So we are going to set x to be 0. So negative 6y. Let me actually do this one from the beginning. So when y is 0, so x is 0, you left with negative 6y. Divide by negative 6. Negative 2. Point. Wonderful. And then to graph our, let's say this is 6. So we have x-intercept 6, y is negative 2. Let's say this is negative 2. So you plot the 2 points on 2 axes and then connect it to straight line. Do you have the line? Yeah. Great. Any question? No? So remember, one final exam question. And with this, you're done at 3.3. So in the homework, I noticed you have around 15 to 20 questions, but all of these are based on finding x and y intercepts. So start doing your homework. Now 3.4 talks about slope and rate of change. So in our last class, we talked about slope a lot. Like I kept saying, well, slope is this, slope is that. I kept telling you that. Now you're going to know what is that slope, what slope tells us. So in math, the slope is a number that tells us how steep a line is when you walk from your left side to the right side. So anytime we walk, we have 4 directions. Either you're moving on a straight line. So your steepness is nothing. It's a flat surface, so it's 0. When you climb up a stair, so you have a steepness, which is positive because you're climbing up. When you climb down a stairs, your steepness going to the negative direction, so it's a negative slope. And the 4th is when you climb a mountain. When you climb a mountain, we go straight up, right? We don't go left, we don't go right, we go straight up. So when you go straight up, since you're not moving left to right, you don't have any steepness. Actually, in other words, we say it's so steep that we don't know how to count the steepness. So the slope doesn't exist. Anyway, so if we are given 2 points, let's say 1 point is here. This is x1, y1. And let's say there is another point here, x2, y2. Then to find how steep the line is from one point to the another point, we use this slope formula, where we take the difference on the y values and we divide that by the difference of the x values. So we want to see how steep this straight line. As a result, we see how much is this distance in the y direction and how much is this distance in the x direction. And then we divide the y distance by the x distance. That's like y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Means difference in the y divided by difference in the x. So yep, you have to memorize if you didn't understand anything what I said. Memorize this formula. And now 4 types of slope. Climbing up. When you walk from left side to the right side, if you climb up, it's positive slope. When you walk from the left to the right, you're going negative, going down, it's negative direction. 0 slope means you're walking on a surface, flat surface. So you're walking from left to right on a straight line. So you don't have any steepness. And undefined means it's so steep that we have no idea how to count because we are moving straight up or down. So 4 types of slope tells us 4 different types of lines. And I actually already explained all of this. Positive means when you walk from left to the right, your M is a positive number. Negative means when you walk from left to the right, your M is a negative number.
How would you differentiate as that's or as
In this class, we are not going to learn asymptotes. So everything is about slope. And once you're comfortable about the slope, when you see asymptote in pre-calculus, you'll already figure out when to use which one. Can I flip my page? That's why I told you, instead of writing all the notes down in the class, just print them out. I think you have 1,000 free printing sheet, right? It is 1,000. From library, you can print 1,000 copies for free. So you can print them because I already posted all of these on Brightspace. You can simply print them, put 4 slides in one page, double-sided. It will become a notebook. You don't have to write down all the details. It will save our time in class. Ready? We are going to start with finding the slope from 2 points. 2 points are given. What is the slope of the line that goes through those 2 points? So slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's say this is x1, y1, and this point is x2, y2. You can do it other way around. The order doesn't matter, but when you plug in, make sure your y goes on the top, x goes on the bottom. That's the important thing. So according to this, what is our y2? -3, and you're subtracting 15. What is our x2? And we are subtracting 12. See, we're not doing anything besides just substituting all those numbers with the variables. Sorry, all those variables with the numbers. -3 minus 15. -18. 10 minus 12. -2. We have negative on the top, negative on the bottom. What happens to them? Cancels. And 2 goes to 18 how many times? 9. So is this a positive number or a negative number? positive number. So what type of line we have that connects to those 2 points? Upward or downward? Upwards. It's a line that is increasing when you walk from your left side to the right side. Any question? No? Then the next example, do it 2 of them actually. Do it with your neighbors. Do the same thing. Find the slope of the line and then graph the line. No phone. Ready?
I have one question.
Uh-huh.
So for x2 and x1, then it's 3 minus -3. So would it be the -3 turn into a +3? So it'd be 6. Yeah. So it'd be -2 over 6.
Uh, B or A?
A.
What is on the top? What is on the top, you said? On the numerator, what do you have?
-2.
Mm-hmm.
over 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How about B? Are you guys done with B?
I got no.
0 over 5.
Okay.
And what is 0 over 5?
That thing.
And what is 0 over 5? How much is it?
0. So. Oh no, it's just 0. Okay. Okay.
So that's
Do you have one more question? No. I should actually add one more question. A, B, C. 7, 1, 7, -1.
that's 6. That's you can just leave it. Oh,
Ready?
okay.
Sergio. Ah. A. Um. So your first pair, is it X1 or X2? So this is X2, Y2.
I1.
So X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Now what is your slope? What minus what? Okay, 1 minus -1. And then on the bottom, why -1? -3 minus 3. Your X has to be together, your Y has to be together. So what is 1 minus -1? What happens to the double negative? It turns into positive. So you have 1 plus 1, which is 2. And on the bottom, what do you have? -3 minus 3. Positive or negative? -6. And then when you simplify, top or bottom? Why is it bigger number? On the top or on the bottom? So, your 3 has to be where? On the top or on the bottom? On the bottom. And here's the negative sign. Then what goes on the top? But 2 goes to 6 3 times. So you divided 2 and 6, there is no more 2. What about 3? 1. In other words, what you're doing is actually this. You are dividing this by 2 and also this by 2. So it's 1 over -3. So what type of line you have? Upward or downward? Downward. This line is going down. Okay. Eliza. B. Help me with B. Eliza, right? Did you pronounce it wrong? E-L, last name is D4. Who? What is the name? Eliza, Lai. Okay, Lai. Okay, Eliza. Help me with B.
5 minus 5.
5 minus 5.
3. -2.
3 minus -2.
Again.
So 3 plus 2. Mm-hmm. And what is 0 over 5? You have $0, okay? And I'm telling you, divide that $0 into 5 pieces. Now, how much money you have? Still 0. Do you have $5? No. So what is 0 divided by 5? You started with $0 and divide that $0 into 5 pieces. Now, how much money you have now? Still $0 because you have nothing to begin with. So this is 0. When undefined comes, I'll tell you. Let's see. Haley, help me with C, please. -1 minus 1 over 7 minus 7. Okay. Now you have -2. I'm telling you, divide your -2 into 0 pieces. Can you able to do that? Or let's say you have $2. Instead of -$2, you have $2. Divide your $2 into 0 pieces. Is it possible? So what is anything divided by 0? It's undefined because it's not possible. When something is not possible, it's undefined. When something is possible, it's 0. For example, here, you begin at $0, divide it into 5 pieces, you still have it $0, means you have nothing. On the other hand, this is different. You have $2. Ignore the negative sign. You have $2 and you're dividing the $2 into 0 pieces. How can you divide anything into 0 pieces? Is it possible? Never in our life. That's why we can never divide anything by 0. If you try to divide anything by 0, it becomes unreal. So it's undefined. It's not possible. So what type of line has 0 slope? It's a flat surface. So the line for this one is a straight horizontal line.
One question.
Mhm.
Undefined or 0?
Which one is correct? So for this, undefined is correct answer. For this, 0 is correct answer. They are not same. In here, 0 is on the top, so your answer is 0. In here, 0 is in the bottom, which is not possible in life, in our life. So it's undefined. So what type of line has undefined slope? It's a straight up-down line because you are not moving left or right. It's straight up. You're climbing a mountain. When you climb a mountain, it's undefined slope because you're climbing straight up. On the other hand, when you walk on the floor, it has 0 slope because it's straight line. Any question? So you see, we see all 4 examples. 0 slope, undefined slope, positive slope, negative slope. And now comes something kind of different, but for some reason, the department loves it. I forgot to tell you. There will be one final exam question from here. So this is the second final exam question I'm giving you. You'll see that in the final exam. Now comes the third final exam question. Department loves this question. It kind of looks different than what we did, but if you understand the scenario, then you'll see that, well, we're doing the exact same. It says a secant line is a line that connects 2 points on a curve. And now let's say you have a curve. So you have a curve, something like this. And it says, find the slope of the secant line connecting the points for which x values are these. So they're telling us our x is 2 and x is 3. We have a point here and we have a point there. What is the slope of the line that connects the 2 points? In other words, you're just going to find the slope of a line. Okay. So slope of a line is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? They gave us 2 x values. Let's say the first one is x1, the second one is x2. So x1 is 2, x2 is 3. Did they give us the y value for them? No, but we definitely need the y's in order to find the slope. So instead of giving us the y value, what did they give us to help us find the y value? What information they gave us? The equation, see, it says y equals blah, 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 which is based on the x. So let's do it on the next page. Our y is x squared plus 2x plus 1. They're telling us our x1 is 2. That means we can find y1 from there. If we know x1 is 2, what would be the y1 for that x1? X1 is 2, we already know that they gave us directly. Oh. We are finding the y1 for that x1.
So you plug in both.
We have to plug in that x1 into the function 2 squared, 2 times 2 plus 1. So whatever we are going to get, that's the y1. It's the y1 because we use x1 to find that y value. So it's the y value for that x value. So what is 2 squared? And what is 2 times 2? 4. And what is 4 plus 4 plus 1? 9. So we found 1 point. X1, Y1 is 2, 9. We are happy we have half of the information, but we still need another half. We know our X2, they're telling us our X2 is 3, but they did not give us our Y2. So X2 is 3. How do we find the Y2? We do the same thing what we did here. So it's 3 squared, 2 times 3. What is 3 squared? 2 times 3. And 9 plus 6 plus 1, 16. And now we are happy. We have our second information, x2, y2. X2 is 3, and we got y2 as 16. Now can you find the slope? So what minus what? 16 minus 9 over 3 minus 2. What is 16 minus 9? And 3 minus 2? What is 7 over 1? 7. So what type of line we supposed to have? Upward. And what do you notice here? It is an upward line. So this equation is asking the exact same thing what we did before, but they want us to find the y by ourselves. Any question? Now, since I did one pair, can you able to do another pair by yourself? The same equation, but this time two different x values. Different x values than the one we did before. It's from 1 to 4. So let's say x1 is 1, x2 is 4. You need to find what is y1 and what is y2. And the equation is that one, x squared plus 2x plus 1. Ready? Jacqueline, can you help me finding y1? Our x1 is 1. How do you find the y1? So what do we write? Equals 1 squared plus times 1. And what do you have? 1 plus 2 plus 1 equals 4. Perfect. Danielle, can you help me find y2? Or y2, x2 is 4. 4 squared. Which is 25. Perfect. And now we can find our slope. Oliver, what's the slope formula? First formula and the number. No, it's y2. y1 x2 minus x1. So what minus what on the top? 25 minus 4. 4 minus 1. So what do we have? 21 over 3. And now can you divide 21 over 3? 7. So what type of line we have? Upward or downward? Upward. And if you observe, we actually have the same slope for both points. Probably it's a coincidence. Any question? Is there anybody who did not get 7 for the second one? Will be?
I think they said that the next one.
You switch the position. Good thing you did, because you're going to learn from your mistake, right? So in the exam, you're not going to do the same thing again. So if you make a mistake here, feel free to admit that, because if you make a mistake here, it will be a lesson for you to prepare yourself for the exam. Okay, now let's do one more question. Oh man, it's a big section. It's about how to find the slope from a given equation. If they give us 2 points, finding the slope is easy. All you have to do is substitute everything. But here, they didn't give us 2 points. They gave us an equation. How do we find the slope? In order to figure that out, let me go back to the note here. See, what did I say? The slope-intercept form is useful to figure out the slope and y-intercept. So since we don't see the slope here, if we convert this format into y equals mx plus b format, we can see the slope easily. We don't have to do anything else after converting. So our goal is to convert that, whatever format that is, convert to y equals mx plus b. In other words, just solve for y. From here, if you solve for y, if you get the y alone, then you can see your slope right away. Plus a bonus point, you can see the y-intercept as well. So if you want to get the y alone, which one we get to the first? The negative 8 from the front or 11x from front? Minus 11x. So negative 8y gives us negative 11x. And 80 doesn't have any sign in the front, so we did plus 80. Now you're almost done. Now the only thing we need to get here is negative 8. How? Divide. So let's divide individually, because we want to see the numbers individually. So we have y equals, what happens to the double negative? Cancels. So you're left to it positive 11 over 8x. And what is 80 divided by negative 8? Can you divide that? How much you get? Negative 10. So the plus and minus gives us a minus. And 8 goes to 80 10 times. So now we are happy, very, very happy, because we can see our slope and we can see our y-intercept. So how much is the slope? 11/8, only the number. X is not a slope, X is a variable. Slope is just a number. And we also know our y-intercept. What is our y-intercept? -10. So see, we tried to solve one thing, but we got lucky, we got two things instead. The slope and the y-intercept. But the direction says find the slope and also the intercepts. It means both x and y-intercept. So we found one of the y-intercept. How do you find the x-intercept? We did a few questions on finding x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, what do you do with the y? We just erase the y term. We substitute y to be 0. So that thing, we actually have to do it manually. To find the x-intercept, we set the y to be 0 and solve for x. It's the same method we used before. And to find that, I'm actually going to use the original one because the original one is useful for x and y-intercept. So we have 11x minus 80y. 8y is 80. Since you're solving for x, so we definitely don't want to see any y term. So you vanish the y term, the whole y term becomes 0. Then what is left? 11x equals 80. And now to get the x alone, divide by 11. X is 80/11. Can you divide 80/11 evenly? No, we can divide 88, but not 80. But can you have any idea around how much is this? 11 goes to 80 around how many times? At least how many times? 7 times. So it's 7 and then some more. Few more. We don't know how much more. Few more. It's 7 points something something. Do you say graph? No. But we can actually graph this. Our y-intercept is -10. So let's say this is -10. And our x is +7. So this is 7, this is 8. It's 7 point something between 7 and 8. We don't know exactly. So it's a rough idea. And then we connect them with a straight line. For some reason, my lines are never straight, but assume they're straight. And guess what? This is another final question. You have to find the slope and intercepts from a given line, or only slope in the final exam. So see, today I gave you 4 final exam questions. So out of 30 questions, you already have 4 of them here. Are you confident enough for your final exam now? Not yet. You're going to build up your confidence because I'm going to tell you all the questions eventually. All 30 questions you'll see before the final. And then all you have to do is study those. So, goodbye everyone. Tomorrow before class, remember you have a PLTL. So go to your PLTL in different room. I don't know which room is it. Go to different room. And then once you're done with your PLTL, come here again to the lecture. So this is 3.4, I think. So we did 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. So you have at least 3 homeworks due on Monday midnight. So have a good day, everyone. See you again tomorrow. Same time, same place.